Journal of Excellence, Episode 13. There's this well-known quote by Socrates. It goes along the lines of, "The unexamined life is not worth living." I've been doing a lot of examination, personal reflection on my life. That's really what the Journal of Excellence is all about for me. It's a reflection, reflecting on my choices that I've made and the impact that they have had on my life. One trap that I see myself falling into time and time again is looking at where I am now and almost getting discouraged because I haven't made the progress that I want. However, that's not fair because I also need to recognize the progress that I have made. And I have made tremendous progress. I started my first business back in 2020. And this was coming off of the global pandemic. This was coming off of quarantine. I had been working from home and I had a stable, good job, and the pandemic really had no impact except my employer told me, hey, stay from home. Or stay home, work from home, use your laptop. I quickly learned that there is a lot of wasted time that takes place when you go into work every day. And without the water cooler talk, without those pointless meetings that I didn't need to be in, but I would go to just out of boredom for something to do, I found quite a bit of free time. I had quite a bit of free time. Now, I'm still working, I'm still getting everything done and more, but I still had free time. So I started a business. And what I quickly realized, I did not quickly realize, this has always been a character flaw of mine, is an almost addiction to procrastination and almost almost comical drive to find distraction as a way of fueling my procrastination. So as an example, working from home, starting up a business, and I decide, you know what, I've worked really, really hard for the last hour, so I'm going to spend the next 2 hours watching YouTube videos. Or I'm going to, I'm just not feeling really up to it right now. I'm kind of tired, so I'm clearly stressed, so I'm going to spend the rest of the day playing a video game. I should have been working. I could have been working and I should have been working. But instead I chose to procrastinate, chose to seek out distraction. Personal entertainment was more important. Fast forward now, 3 years later, and I've been able to more or less overcome this quick snap decision, hey, to say, you know what, I've worked hard for the last hour, now I can spend the next 2 hours entertaining myself. Instead, now I can go 3, 4 hours working, focusing on different tasks. I'm better with my time management. I'm better organized. I have a better roadmap for the things that I need to do and how to do them. I schedule out my day. I chunk it out, and throughout the day, I do give myself little rewards. You know, if I finish a task early, then it's okay for me to um, to reward myself. And now the rewards, I'm no longer allowing myself 2 hours of distraction. I'm no longer sloughing off the rest of the day. It's a small reward. And just the change between how I used to behave versus how I behave now, kind of, on the one hand, I see how I am currently where I am today because of the choices and my behavior and my actions from before. And the idea is that by being more disciplined, by being more consistent, by being more organized, that 3 years from now, my life will look considerably different. That's the hope, that's the dream. It's just really the point that I am driving at here, though, is that I'm taking the time to reflect on my life. I'm examining my life. And while I see all the areas that I need to improve, I also need to recognize how I've improved. It's kind of funny. I like to build. I like to use my hands. I like to do things. And years ago, I built a playhouse for my daughters in our backyard. It was a fun week-long project, and it wasn't anything grand or anything special. It was really just a glorified tool shed. But I built it with my own 2 hands. And I was so proud of my work. So proud that it just I relished in what I had done, what I had built. Now when I looked at it, I just saw this thing that I had built, and I was proud of it, and it was awesome. However, when my wife looked at it, or my daughters looked at it, all they saw was that the door didn't open properly because the flooring wasn't quite level. The floor inside the playhouse, you got splinters in your feet because I used a cheaper plywood. The loft was fun, but I didn't put in a ladder, so there was no way for my daughters to get up into the loft. They saw all the flaws. And it's funny to me to reflect on that particular example, because all I could see was the good, and all of my family saw were the flaws. Now, about 2 years ago, we had a barbecue area put in, and the contractor, my wife refused to let me do it. I don't know why. The contractors who did the barbecue area, and we planned it out with a fire pit, a barbecue area, had a nice pergola, pavers, really, really nicely done. And when all was said and done, all I could see were the flaws, the uneven grade on the pavers, the the cheap wood that they used for the pergola, and I just saw the flaws. And I wonder how that reflects on me and my life. Because sometimes when I reflect on my life, my accomplishments, my achievements, sometimes I really only see the good. And when I reflect on the achievement of others, I just see the flaws. And maybe that's my real character flaw. I need to be more critical of my accomplishments, and I need to be more praiseworthy in the accomplishments of others. And all of this comes out just from taking taking time out of the day to stop, to slow down, and to reflect, to examine. Because you have this funny thing happens. You see you see areas that you can improve. You see areas that you can change. And if you take the time to make those changes, slowly, it doesn't have to be a big event. Just you just try and be a little bit better every day. Quite all of a sudden, years have gone by, and you look back at where you were 3 years ago when you started this business, and you see a colossal gap. You see how much you've progressed. And I think that's the whole point of this. Daily improvement. Day after day, year after year. That's what it means to me to be personally excellent.